revs your heart, Yamaha.
Hi, Barry Thompson from Powerboat Magazine. Today in the Know Your Boat series brought to you by Yamaha, we're looking at hull types. We've talked about designs, we've talked about layouts. Now, what about the hull material? Traditionally, we're looking at three different forms. There's fiberglass, aluminium, and of course inflatable ribs. But not to forget, there's also the old timber boats. You don't really see them much these days. A few home builds and a few second-hand ones, but also polyethylene rotational moulded boats. They're quite popular still around the country. Firstly, let's look at fiberglass, like this Buccaneer 565XS behind me here. Fiberglass has been around a lot longer than other modern forms of boat building. We had timber boats, then along came fiberglass, and in fact 20-30 years ago you couldn't really buy any aluminium boats. What you did, there was only a couple on the market. Fiberglass dominated. So what are the benefits and what are the differences between fiberglass and aluminium? The one thing about fiberglass boats is they're built from a mould, hull mould, deck mould. You get nice soft curves and edges such as this 565 Buccaneer Classic. No hard shapes to it. Also, the ability inside to have that soft look can often be the selling point. If you're buying the boat because you like to go fishing, but you've got to convince the wife, she'll look in there and go, well, that's nice, I like the look of that. It can be a good selling point. The other thing about fiberglass boats is they're usually a bit heavier than aluminium boats and they have a deeper V. But because they're made from a set of moulds, you can't really customise them. You can't lengthen the hull, you can't move the bulkhead. But that's where aluminium comes into its own. So let's have a look at that. Aluminium boats, they've been around since the 70s. The one thing about aluminium is the manufacturers have just refined them out of sight. They've gone away from being little tinnies that pounded and you got wet in, to boats like this 570 Extreme Game King. Hard tops, super popular, and the ride and the performance and the handling is just so much better than it used to be in the old days. So here in front of this Extreme 645 Game King, this is a really popular aluminium boat. The big thing about aluminium boats is the ability to customise them. Now you can't do that when you've got a fiberglass boat with a mould. But what I can do here, I can order this boat off the manufacturer through the dealer, put another hole in here, make another walk-through, put a live bait tank in here. I could move this bulkhead, not always, but sometimes you can move that forward or aft. The same with the hard top, extend that on. So you can customise the boat to suit your requirements a lot easier than you can with a GRP boat. Traditionally, aluminium boats were lighter. In the old days they were, but today boats like this are getting 5-6 mil bottoms on them, so the weight's gone up. Shallower dead rise, bit easier to launch off the beaches, but still now giving a very, very good soft ride. And the third option are ribs. What does rib stand for? It stands for rigid. It's the hull, either fiberglass, aluminium, inflatable, which is the tube, Hypalon or PVC. Absolutely fantastic boats for diving, for coaching, as tenders, come in 2 metres to around about 20 odd metres, custom built. Now the advantages of a rib, the things that they're really good for with diving, is their stability, rolling over the side. They're good when you're coming alongside a boat. You don't need a fender because this is the fender. They're traditionally very soft riding too and lightweight, so you don't need a big car to tow them or a truck. Next week in our Yamaha Know Your Boat series, we're going to be looking at what powers your boat.